Hello, today I'm going to be unboxing and giving you a first look at the ASUS TUF Gaming X870 Plus Wi-Fi. So let's go ahead and get it unboxed and take a closer look at it. So this is everything that comes in the box with the motherboard. So we've got a quick start guide, we've got some information about ASUS web storage and some TUF gaming stickers. We've got the antenna for our Wi-Fi 7, we've got two SATA data cables, one has a right angle connector and one has a straight connector. We've got some rubber pads and a screw for our M.2 SSDs. Taking a closer look at the motherboard, I'm working along the bottom from left to right. First of all, we've got our HD audio connector, then we've got three system fan headers followed by a comms port. We've then got two 3.5 volt ARGB headers, followed by COM debug and temperature sensor headers. We've then got two USB 2.0 headers, followed by a clear CMOS header. Next to that, we've got a water pump header, followed by a chassis intrusion header. And then at the bottom right hand side of the motherboard, we've got our system panel header, where you're going to plug in your front panel connectors. Working up the right hand side of the motherboard, first of all, we've got two SATA connectors, followed by a forward facing USB 3.2 Gen 1 header. Next to that, we've got a USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 front panel Type-C header, and that header will support speeds of up to 20 gigabits per second and supports 30 watt PD fast charging. Above that, we've got our 24-pin power connector, followed by the motherboard's third and final 3.5 volt ARGB header. And then at the top right of the motherboard, we've got our debug LEDs, which you'll find useful if you need to troubleshoot your system. Working along the top of the motherboard, first of all, we've got our CPU fan and CPU opt header. We've then got our AIO pump header. And then at the top left of the motherboard, we've got two 8-pin EPS power connectors. Our motherboard's fourth and final system fan header is just to the left of our top M.2 slot. The motherboard features a 16 plus 2 plus 1 power phase design, and we've got large aluminium heatsinks over the VRM. In the middle of the motherboard, we've got our AM5 socket and standard mounting brackets, and the motherboard is compatible with Ryzen 7000, 8000 and 9000 processors. We've got 4 RAM slots, and the motherboard is compatible with up to a maximum of 192 gigabytes of DDR5 at up to 8000 plus megatransfers per second overclocked. The motherboard has 2x16 size PCIe slots. The top one is a Gen 5 slot where the PCIe lanes come from the CPU and it will run in x16 mode. The bottom slot is a Gen 4 slot. It will run in x8 or x4 mode and the PCIe lanes for it come from the chipset. It's good to see that our top slot is reinforced, and removing your graphics card from it should be really straightforward using ASUS's PCIe slot Q release. And you can see we've got the TUF Gaming logo over our X870 chipset. The motherboard features 4 M.2 SSD slots, and we've got heatsinks over the top 3 slots. The top 2 slots are Gen 5x4 slots with the PCIe lanes coming from the CPU, while the bottom 2 slots are Gen 4x4 slots with the PCIe lanes coming from the chipset. It is important to note that the second Gen 5 slot shares PCIe lanes with the top PCIe slot, so if you do install a drive here, the PCIe lanes available in the top slot for your graphics card will be reduced from 16 to 8. Likewise, if you do install a drive in the bottom Gen 4 slot, the bottom PCIe slot on the motherboard will be disabled. Installing and removing your M.2 SSDs should be really straightforward using ASUS's Q latches. Taking a look at our rear I/O, first of all, we've got two USB Type-A 10 gigabit per second ports with a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port next to it. Beneath this, we've got a HDMI 2.1 port, and then we've got two USB Type-C ports. Both of these ports are USB 4 ports supporting speeds of up to 40 gigabits per second. Next to this, we've got a USB 2.0 port. It has a white outline around it, and this is the port you're going to use if you want to flash your BIOS. And beneath this, we've got another USB Type-A 10 gigabit per second port. We've then got 4 USB Type-A 5 gigabit per second ports, followed by the antenna for our Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 5.4. Beneath this, we've got our BIOS flashback button and the audio connectors at the bottom. So this looks to be another solid X870 motherboard from ASUS. In terms of pricing, I don't have any details yet, but what I will do when it goes on sale, I'll put links to the motherboard in the description. If you have enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not currently subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button as well. Thanks for watching.